The constant rush, the endless pressure to perform, and hustle culture have become a part of almost all our lives. The idea that we can only be successful if we work non-stop, if we give up every minute for our goals, has really become a part of our daily lives. Yet, more and more of us feel that this way of life isn't sustainable. The constant pushing wears us out, makes us feel distant from ourselves and our loved ones, and even holds back our creativity and performance in the long run. The real question is, can we only be successful this way, or is there another path? A more mindful, slower, balanced life, where time, freedom and meaning also have value. In this video, we'll look at how we can get out of the constant rush and find our own pace without giving up success or self-fulfillment. We'll see why hustle culture is harmful and why it's worth rethinking what success means so that we can finally live a healthier, happier life. I'm sure you know this feeling. You work from 6 in the morning until 10 at night, your head is full of tasks, your phone is constantly ringing, and somehow you always feel like you're not doing enough. Social media is full of content that suggests if you're not working 77 hours a week, you don't want to be successful enough. This is hustle culture, which has sadly become normal. Many of us don't even notice how natural the constant rush has become. At the end of the day, we still feel guilty if we haven't checked off every item on our endless to-do list. It's getting harder and harder to switch off, as the lines between work and private life are blurring, and expectations are everywhere, whether from your boss or the inner pressure you put on yourself. Resting and slowing down often seem like a luxury, even though these are exactly what we need most. Often we don't even know why we're pushing ourselves so hard, we just go with the flow, while we get further and further away from our own needs and true goals. This constant chasing can easily lead to burnout and anxiety, and in the long run, it takes away the joy and meaning from life. But what if I told you that this whole approach is not only harmful, but actually hinders success in the long run? Studies clearly show that constant overwork leads to serious mental and physical health problems. Hustle culture increases stress, the risk of burnout, and strangely enough, lowers how much work you get done. When we're always focused on getting things done, we lose touch with ourselves, our families, and what's really important to us. Often, we don't even notice how narrow our view becomes when we're only focused on the next task or goal. Our lives become more and more like a routine, while our creativity, excitement, and sense of joy slowly fade away. Because of too much pushing ourselves, we often forget that rest, recharging, and human connections are just as important as the results we get at work. After a while, we can't even truly enjoy our successes, because the next expectation or task is always hanging over our heads. This process can easily lead to us feeling empty, unmotivated, or even lost, even if everything seems fine around us. I remember when I was also on this hamster wheel. I thought that the more I worked, the closer I would get to my goals. But then I realized that this path was actually a dead end. It's not more work, but a mindful, balanced approach that leads to true success. The real breakthrough came when I started paying attention to how I felt day by day, and I realized that constantly pushing myself only made me tired and unhappy. When I finally allowed myself to rest and recharge, I became much more creative and motivated. I realized that the quality time I spend on myself, my family, or even a hobby is not wasted time, but actually contributes to long-term results. Since then, I consciously seek balance, and I find that this way I can be not only happier but also more successful. You see, with awareness and mindfulness practices, we can improve our focus, lower our stress, and boost our productivity. When we are present, when we consciously decide where to put our time and energy, we can work much more effectively. Studies show that people who practice mindfulness have about 15% better focus and experience much less stress. This kind of conscious presence also helps us not get carried away by negative thoughts or outside pressures, so we can react calmly to challenges more easily. Regularly practicing mindfulness improves problem-solving skills and increases emotional stability, which brings noticeable positive changes in daily life. For many, even spending a few minutes each day on breathing exercises or short meditations is a huge step forward. These small habits greatly contribute to balance in the long run. And last but not least, being consciously present helps us appreciate the small joys of everyday life and learn to be thankful for the things that truly matter. This way, not only does our performance get better, but our quality of life also reaches a noticeably higher level. Now I want to share with you 3 specific strategies that can help you escape the trap of hustle culture and find a healthier path to success. The first strategy is to set boundaries on purpose. This means we create clear lines between work time and personal life. Don't let work spill into every part of your life. Start by deciding exactly when you work and when you don't. For example, if your workday ends at 8 p.m., then after 8 p.m., you don't check work emails or answer work calls. This might be hard at first, but it's super important to prevent burnout. At the beginning, it might feel strange to say no to work messages or calls, especially if you've always been available. But with time, you'll notice that setting these boundaries on purpose not only helps you feel better, but also makes your work better. During your time off, you can recharge, get new ideas, and be more present in your personal life too. Your surroundings might find this change odd at first, but if you stick to your rules, they will eventually respect your boundaries. Remember, balancing work and personal life not only protects you from burnout, but also forms the basis for a successful and happy life in the long run. Here's an example from my own life. When I started to manage boundaries on purpose, I decided I wouldn't work after 6 p.m. Of course, there were days when I had to break this rule for important projects, but that became the exception, not the rule. As a result, I became not only happier, but also more productive. When I knew I only had a certain amount of time for work, I focused much better and finished my tasks more efficiently. The second strategy is to focus on only one task at a time. Multitasking, which many people think is a winning strategy, actually makes you less effective. Your brain can't actually do 2 complex tasks at once. Instead, it quickly switches between tasks, which causes mental tiredness and leads to mistakes. Instead, try doing your work with conscious single focus. When you're working on a task, put your phone away, close other programs on your computer, and give your full attention to what you're doing. This is practicing being present. It might be hard at first, your thoughts will wander, but that's normal. When you notice your attention has wandered, just gently guide it back to the task. It's like training your muscles. The more you practice, the stronger your ability to focus will become. It's important to know that improving your focus takes time and patience, but the effort will pay off. You'll find it easier to get deeply into your work, and you'll enjoy the happiness of creating or solving problems. Plus, you'll make fewer mistakes, and tasks will get done faster. Conscious focus also helps you not feel so worn out at the end of the day, because you haven't wasted your energy switching back and forth unnecessarily. Finally, when you truly get into a task, it boosts your confidence and your satisfaction with your work. The third strategy is to take mindful breaks. Hustle culture suggests that breaks are a sign of laziness, but the truth is quite the opposite. Regular breaks improve creativity, productivity, and prevent burnout. Your brain can't intensely focus for hours. It needs a short rest about every 90 minutes. These short breaks allow you to come back to your tasks with fresh eyes, and often that's when the best ideas or solutions come to you. A mindful walk, a few minutes of quiet breathing exercises, or even a short stretch can help you recharge and continue your work with new energy. It's important not to feel guilty about resting. These breaks are not wasted time, but an investment in your long-term success. If you regularly make sure to give yourself time to recover, you'll not only be more effective, but also more balanced and content in your daily life. That's why I suggest you build mindful breaks into your day. This could be a 5-minute breathing exercise, a short walk, or simply getting up from your desk and stretching. These mini breaks recharge your energy and help you maintain long-term productivity. For example, I take a 10-minute break after every 2 hours. During this time, I go out to the terrace, look at the plants, or simply stand and pay attention to my breath. This 10 minutes is not wasted time, but an investment in the effectiveness of the next 2 hours. If you'd like to learn more about mindfulness practices, I recommend the online courses from Mindfulness Exercises, which have helped me a lot in recent years. The exercises that focus on managing workplace stress are especially helpful. You'll find the link in the description. But let's also talk about how we redefine success. The hustle culture often equates hard work with success, but this is a misleading idea. True success isn't about how much you work, but about how much you align with your values, how present you are in your own life, and how sustainable what you do is. The true measure of success is how much joy, satisfaction, and inner peace you find in what you do, not how many hours you spend working or how many things you check off your list. It's important that your goals aren't just expectations from outside, but truly reflect what is valuable and meaningful to you. When you define success to include personal growth, the quality of your relationships, and the joys of everyday life, you can live a much more balanced and happier life. Sustainable success means being able to maintain your energy, enthusiasm, and health in the long run without sacrificing your well-being for performance. Ultimately, the essence of success is finding a way of life where you can truly be yourself and where you find meaning and joy in your daily life. Think about it. What is success for you? Perhaps it's not a 90-hour work week, but being present with your family, having time for your hobbies, being healthy, and finding meaning in what you do. This holistic approach is much more sustainable than a rush that leads to burnout. If you honestly think it through, you might realize that true success is much more about living in harmony with yourself and your surroundings. Being able to live in the moment, enjoy the small things every day, and make time for those who truly matter to you can mean much more than any professional recognition. In such a life, you're not driven by constant pressure to perform, but by inner contentment and finding meaning in what you do. This perspective allows you to stay balanced, happy, and healthy in the long run while moving towards your goals at your own pace. The slow living movement is exactly about this. It's not about being lazier, but about living more mindfully. It's about choosing quality over quantity. It's about finding the right pace in every area of your life and not letting outside expectations dictate your rhythm. This mindset helps you truly be present in your own life and not just survive from day to day. The essence of slow living is to make space for rest, deep thought, and nurturing your relationships, not just constant achievement. This way, not only does your stress level decrease, but your creativity and sense of joy also increase. A slower pace gives you the chance to discover what is truly important to you and to consciously shape your life according to your own values. Finally, you can also experience that less is truly more. Less rushing, more experiences, fewer expectations, more inner peace. Now, I want to talk on a more personal level. I know many people struggle with this topic because I struggled with it too. There was a time in my life when I thought that if I wasn't working constantly, I wasn't enough. This way of thinking is very harmful, and it took a long time for me to realize my worth is not based on my work performance. The turning point came when I started meditating. At first, I only spent 5 minutes a day on it, but even this short time helped me to better understand my own way of thinking. I realized how many negative thoughts I had about work, and that these thoughts were not true. As time went on, meditation also helped me to manage these thoughts more mindfully and not let them control my feelings or my decisions. It became easier and easier to let go of unnecessary worries and instead focus on the present moment and my true values. This change not only made me calmer, but also helped me to face daily challenges with more confidence and balance. Practicing meditation and mindfulness also helped me to see my own situation much more clearly and objectively. I gradually realized that the beliefs instilled in me by hustle culture, such as the idea that continuous overwork or endless striving leads to happiness and success, actually do not serve my well-being. It became clearer and clearer to me that working 77 hours a week doesn't make me more satisfied, and it doesn't give life its true meaning. I realized that the key to success lies not in exhaustion, but in balance, mindfulness, and respecting my own needs. This realization gave my life a new direction and helped me to live more consciously and balanced. If you also want to delve deeper into this topic, I recommend the mindful.org digital subscription, which contains many useful articles and practical guides for a slower, more conscious life. Especially valuable are the contents that show techniques that can be integrated into everyday life. You can also find the link in the description. It's important to point out that stepping away from hustle culture doesn't mean you give up on your goals or that you shouldn't try your best. It's actually the opposite. When you approach work more thoughtfully, when you take care of yourself, and when you work at a steady pace, you get much better results. Studies show that balanced workers are more creative, more productive, and make fewer mistakes. A good balance between work and home life makes you happier at work, reduces how often people leave their jobs, and improves long-term performance. But how do you start this change? Here are some simple tips you can start using tomorrow. First, start your day with a clear purpose. This means that in the mornings, before you jump into the day's rush, take 5 minutes to think about what's really important for that day. Pick the 2 or 3 goals or tasks that truly matter, and that would make you feel good about what you did by the end of the day. This helps you not get lost in urgent but less important tasks, and to move forward more focused and thoughtfully. Second, practice saying no. This might be one of the biggest challenges, but also one of the most effective tools. Hustle culture often suggests that we must take on everything, grab every chance, but this can easily lead to being overwhelmed. Learn to say no to tasks that don't serve your true goals. When you say no to something, you're actually saying yes to yourself. Third, include activities in your day that bring you joy and are not related to work. These activities can be very simple: a walk in nature, a good book, a short meditation, listening to music, or even cooking. Fourth, pay attention to your body's signals. Hustle culture often pushes us to ignore tiredness. If you're tired, allow yourself to rest. If you're hungry, don't put off eating. If you're stressed, take deep breaths. Fifth, build a supportive community. Look for people who value a slower, more thoughtful way of living. It's important to understand that this change won't happen overnight. You've been living in a certain way for years, and it's natural that it will take time to create a new approach. At first, it might feel strange not to be working every minute. You might even feel guilty when you take a break. The main thing is that success isn't about how tired you are, but about how much you are in tune with yourself. Calm success means reaching your goals without giving up your health, your relationships, or your happiness. To wrap things up, I want to say that you are in charge of your own life. You decide what pace you want to live at and what values you work by. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel because we regularly share inspiring content about a more mindful lifestyle and balance. And now I'd love to hear about your experiences. Tell me in the comments how you deal with hustle culture and what strategies you use. Thank you for listening. Remember, true success isn't found in being exhausted, but in being balanced. See you in the next video!